So this box pops up on your screen and you have to click the word "got it." And then the screen will clear away. If you click the other button, you'll leave the meeting. So this is recording so that you can access it tomorrow and the next day and the next day to keep your practice going, because that's where the major benefits of these practices happen when you do them regularly, right? And the beautiful thing about Taoist movements, Tai Chi, Qigong, even yoga, which is more from India, but is that they can be and should be done every day, multiple times a day, because they're kind of gentle and they're not, so it's like you wouldn't want to run a marathon every single day of the week because you would be breaking down your joints, you'd be hurting your ligaments, you wouldn't want to lift heavy weights every day of the week, but doing some of that type of exercise throughout the week. But our Tai Chi and Qigong and joint movement and breath work and all that stuff should be done multiple times a day, to be honest, especially those of you dealing with Parkinson's, in terms of the stiffening up that's happening and also the nervous system getting sort of off calibration. These are practices that I would suggest, and I do it for myself throughout the day, little dosages of these practices. So let's get to it. I'm going to mute everyone. And always feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question or there's something confusing. And you can always email me as well after, like throughout the week. So find your comfortable seat. When you sit in your chair, scoot to the front edge of the chair so just your buttock bones are on the chair. Your legs are out over the chair. So each of these, I was talking about the idea last week, snack size, meaning if you had only 5 minutes or something that you were feeling flustered or sort of low energy, just coming to the edge of your chair, resting the hands on the thighs, close the eyes, a little slight bow of the chin down, the crown up. You are giving yourself an opportunity to work on the essential building blocks of you could say the sort of mind-body practices. All of them agree upon central channel, which they call Chong Mai in Chinese medicine, and they call Sushumna Nadi in Indian sort of yoga. Energetic thought, right? But there's a central channel. So there's an agreement on that, and we want to pause for a moment in our life and say, okay, let me align with that central channel. And that central channel isn't just the physical placement of your spine, though that's a part of it, but it's more like the plumb line, the center. You can sort of think of it as the mathematical center from front to back, side to side, finding that and letting there be this down through to the earth quality of that. So we've been talking last couple of weeks. Zhongjung is another term in Taoist thought, central upright. So that means we find that central upright. Then the second bit is Chunwan, soft, sunken, stable. So we find our upright and then we try and release and relax and let, like sediment settling in a cup of water, settle down through the tissue, all the way through the chair, through the legs, through the feet, to the earth. Soft, sunken, and stable. Chunwan. And then the third bit, Qing Ling, which means light, buoyant, and nimble. So when we've become upright, and then we allow for that soft, sunken, stable, the sediment to settle, then what's left in the body is Qingling, this quality of nimbleness, agility, rather than rigidity, stiffness, clumsiness. So that's essentially what we're practicing. And just by sitting, breathing, attending your mind to these concepts, this could be your whole practice for 5 minutes out of your day. Let's just take now 8 breath cycles. Long, smooth inhale. A little hold of the breath at the top. Long, smooth exhale. A little hold of the breath at the bottom. Again, an inhale, long and smooth, full, expanding. When you're ready, long, smooth exhale out the nose or the mouth. Empty. Hold empty. When you're ready, inhale through the nose again, long, smooth. Holding the breath, saturating the system, absorbing in chi and life force, oxygen. Exhaling when you're ready, breath out, long and smooth, all the way to empty. Hold the breath empty. Don't inhale right away. And then inhale. Notice how, again, just by doing the structural alignment and the breathing, something is shifting in the right direction. We're shifting in the direction of quieter, clearer, more awareness, the nervous system settling, especially with regards to Parkinson's. Agitated nervous system is something you can less and less afford. Other people can do it and get away with it, even though it's not good for them. The Parkinson's just really makes it obvious. You got to master your nervous system. You have to bring it down into parasympathetic and have all your tissue be relaxed, dilated, plump, soft. Now, to help get this clarity of sediment settling and light nimbleness in the body, we got to do some movements. Slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back. Now lift your chest and chin, look up. So you're arching the back. Oh. And then we do the opposite. Slide your hands forward till your elbows go completely straight or locked, you might say. Drop your head and hollow the chest. So the chest goes back, so you're rounding your back. Then slide the hands back, elbows back, lift the chest, look up. Shoulder blades kind of squeeze together like you're cracking a walnut between the shoulder blades. And then slide the hands forward, softly drop the head, rounding the back, hollow the chest. And again. So let's do this 3 more times. Keep in mind you have 24 vertebrae, 24 individual joints through the spine from the tail all the way to the skull. And we want movement, a little bit of movement at each and every one of those. So we want to feel kind of that serpentine quality through the spine, this rippling through the spine, loose and free. Last one. And as you finish, come back to that middle position, Zhongjang, or central upright. Chunwan, settling down through to the earth. Qingling, light and nimbleness is left. Now, with that state of the body, we do our rotation. So now left hand, this is my right hand, but your left hand, because I'll be your mirror. Slide that hand forward past the knee. Right hand, slide back, pull elbow back, turn shoulders and head to the right. Rotation. Switch. So you turn back through middle, right hand goes forward, left hand and elbow go back. Turn. And we switch again. Turn. So the same 24 vertebrae, each doing a small amount of rotation, which is a different movement than we did with the first exercise, but it's built into our vertebra to be able to rotate. And we're also having some movement in the arms and shoulder blades and all that. But just get this feeling of turning left and turning right. One more each way. So we're basically kind of going to where the sediment is stuck and helping it to get free. Let's come back to middle. Now, arms hang by your sides, loose as you can, and then shift the weight to your right butt cheek, and then softly lean, tipping. As you tip, let your left wrist become buoyant and just float up. Then let that wrist come down as you tip back to middle, tip to the left butt cheek, lean the body a little bit, right wrist floats up. But make sure you let that head lean as well. Back to center, and then lean. Now what we've been adding is as you get over to your left buttock, and you're sort of using only down through the left side to connect you to the earth, right foot floats up. And then we change. Lean. Right or left foot can come off the ground. What happens a lot of times is people see that and then they pull their foot up with effort instead of waiting long enough for you to empty that side. And then you feel, oh, that foot is buoyant. And then we change again, lean. So again, all 24 vertebrae, some movement of the limbs here, but really we're cultivating our middle. The middle, like the middle of a seesaw, remains constant, remains stable, central pivot as we change side to side. Now, back to middle. And we change to our next little set. Okay, so now shoulders. When I say shoulders, a lot of people think here. But what we really mean is shoulder blades, the scapula. So that is the root of your arm. So when we're doing a complicated Tai Chi movement, it doesn't just come from here. It can't come just from here. It has to be the blade free to move when we're doing all these interesting spirals and whatnot. So we got to liberate those shoulder blades. Right shoulder, shrug up, melt down. Left shoulder, shrug up, melt down. Now let's do both. Up, down. Relaxing the entirety of the arm. So this is just all soft and relaxed all the way to the tips of the fingers. And you're feeling how just by moving your shoulder blades, the arms float along for the ride. So really any tension or activity in your arms just gets in the way of free movement. Now let's do our circles. So the shoulder blades not only lift and lower, but they spread apart from each other. They also squeeze towards each other. This is the one we all usually can do where we squeeze back. But we also have to find that movement where they spread, they slide away from each other and they slide towards each other. Shoulder blades. Now we put it all together. They slide away from each other on the back so the shoulders are kind of forward. Lift up the shoulders. Keep lifted as you go back with the shoulder blades to squeeze. And then keep them back as you slide them down the back and find neutral, just hanging out in the middle. Again, shoulder blades come forward, up, back, down, under, forward and up, over the top, back and down. Do a couple of more and I'll show you it from the back side so you can see. Shoulder blades spread apart, lift, squeeze, down, apart, lift, squeeze, down. Reverse. So now they go back, up, over the top, forward, down. Back, up, over the top, forward, down. Back, up, over top, down. Two more. Back, up, over the top, down. Okay. Now, I'll be at a slight angle so you can see the angle of the arms. Forward with the arms, but notice I didn't lift them up, Marjan, just yet. So up is here. Forward, they can come forward but stay down. And then back. Forward, back. Now forward, stay forward, go out to the side, around to slightly behind you and in, and then swing forward again. Around, forward, around. So we're trying to move with less and less effort, more and more hydraulic, liquid, smooth. Now, come forward and a little bit up, out, down, forward and a little bit up, out, back behind a little down. One more. Now, forward, up, and keep going up as you then go out and behind you down. Forward, up, keep rising as you take the hands out over the top of that circle and down. One more. Now, back to level one, reverse. Hands go back, they stay low as they go around the circle to the front. They swing back, come around that circle to the front. Loose as can be in your chest, shoulder, shoulder blade, junction. That is this pivot, the space inside the shoulders there. That loose pivot is where the movement is best operated. Now lift up, cross, fall, up, and fall. And level three, up, keep coming up, out in front, down, loose, back, up, over the top of that circle, down, back, up, over, down. One more. And release. Bend the elbows. Keeping elbows bent. Elbows go down, out, up, down, around, touch. Try to touch the elbows together. Even if you can't, effort in that direction. Down, out, up, down, around, in, squeeze, down, out and up, down, round and squeeze. Now elbows back, straight back. right? Back. So all these back muscles are toning, shoulder blades squeezing. Then elbows down. The hands naturally end up here. Elbows forward, the hands naturally go over the shoulders. Some of you might get stuck right here and just work your way to maybe over time going up with the elbows, hands naturally go down your back. And then elbows forward, elbows down, elbows back. Elbows down, forward, up. Forward, down, back. Down, forward, up. Down. Elbows out once more, palms face the floor, one hand above, one below. Cross, hug your own body. And then releasing that, let this sort of buoyancy open you, and then switch. Hug your own body. And then release the hold and just let the arms naturally sort of float out. One more each. Effort your way into this hug. And then release. One more. And release. Release the elbows, hands down. Now there's more that we do in the upper, but we're going to just move on from that today. Scoot back a little in your chair. Now lift the right knee up and flex the foot, pulling the toes back, and pull the heel towards your butt like you're getting ready to push something away. And then go ahead and push and then retract. Set that foot down. And we do that on the other side. So this is called chambering. The knee comes up, but we're also pulling in the foot in a way that we're loading it up. And then we're pushing straight away and then reloading down. Repeat. Load, push, reload, down. Load and push, reload, down. Down. Now, right leg, straighten, point the foot, flex the foot, point, flex, point, flex. You're getting calf and shin, foot and ankle. Then what's called invert, evert. The foot goes a little in, a little out, a little in, out, in, out. Now circles, in and circle, 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 circle. Reverse the circle, out and circle. And down. Other foot, point, flex. These are the ABCs. The brain has to be able to execute all these little movements perfectly for you to have a chance at doing anything more complicated, right? Then invert, evert, that little tilt of the foot, in, out. Then circles, in and around. Reverse, out and around. And down. Scoot forward once more to the front edge. Now we'll do the simpler of the swivel step exercises. So step your feet a little wider than hip distance, so you have some space right here. You're going to lift your toes up so the heels are on the floor, and then turn on the heels. So your knees come in and your feet come in. Notice you achieve this by internally rotating in the groin and hip area. Their thigh bone turns in. Now lift the toes and turn out. All right, so now you've opened this space. This is called the quad. This space is very important for all of our Tai Chi movement. Now we go in. We're closing that quad, right? And then out. We're opening. Close and open a few more times. Really notice, if you can, the opportunity to, if you relax through the hip space while moving the legs, that your pelvis and spine, everything can remain undisturbed regardless of what the legs are doing. Whereas when we're stuck and bound up here, we're sort of pulled along by what happens between the legs and hips. So we want this area to be free, loose, right? Limber. Last one. Bring them back to neutral. Bring the legs a little closer together. Now the legs don't move, but the hips fold, then sit upright, lean back. So on this one, notice that nothing is changing anywhere in the spine or the shoulders or really anywhere. The only place that an event is happening is where your leg bones meet your hip sockets. So you're tipping from that area and you're tipping from that area. But when you move from that junction, a lot happens, right? You're leaning all the way back or you're folding all the way forward. That's a pretty big change in space. But from the perspective of the hip joint, it's a very simple event. It's just folding and unfolding. So often when I'm working with people and we start to do this, there's all this extraneous stuff happening in the spine, but nothing happening in the hips. Whereas we want the opposite. We want nothing else happening except right where we want it to be occurring. That's how Tai Chi is very efficient and very effective. It's like precision in movement, right? Now, come back to sitting. Here, slide your feet back underneath that same fold. Let your arms kind of reach out a little bit past the ankles. We stand up. Now remember that exact place in the hips. When it comes time to sit down, the first thing you got to do is fold at the hips. Let the arms be loose. Then you sink the butt, find the chair with your tush, and then sit back. So this should feel somewhat effortless, where you spill the liquid into your legs, then just push through the earth and you rise up nice and tall, and then fold, sink, land. So there's no kerplunk into your chair and there's no effort to try to get up. It's just liquid, right? Now stay standing. A few squats where you do not sit in the chair. But the way you achieve the squat, you want to do it soft, like sliding. So the butt goes back. So you've opened up this pathway, and then you just sink the butt. And notice that that folding up brings you pretty close down to the floor. You could touch the floor. You could pick up a pen if you dropped it, or your glasses or something. Right? So we're seeing the power of being able to open up this little hip joint area, the power of it to just be totally relaxed, sink from the hips, and now we're all the way down near the floor. We can do what we need to do here, and then we come back up to standing, and we didn't have to work very hard. We just worked precise. And the best mode by which to do this is softening through the movement, releasing through the movement versus tensing up and then trying to force the body. It's the opposite. We want to melt. Melt. All righty. Now we're standing. You keep your chair where it is. I'm just moving mine because I have limited space. So now you're standing comfortably. Notice your feet. You have more room in front of your ankle than you do behind, but we have the heels and we have the toes. So let yourself just very lightly lean forward so that your body weight is more in the balls of the feet and less in the heels. Then come back to middle, where you're both heels and balls of feet equally almost. And then just let your liquid sort of reposition back so you're more in your heels and less in the balls of your feet. And then come back to middle. And then lean a little bit forward so you're more in the toes. And then back to middle. And then more in your heels, just a little bit. Be safe with the movement. But what you want to find is that, okay, my feet, they're not just one, like a, let's say like a horse's hoof. There's not just a hoof on the ground. There's a whole topography. There's a whole range to explore. Forward and backwards. Now let's find the middle. Stay in the middle. Now, this Qigong, change your weight to your right leg a little more than your left leg, so that your left leg might even feel empty. And then change the weight more to your left leg so that your right leg feels a little more empty. The key mistakes that people make when changing from one leg to the other are either, and I'm going to exaggerate it, but this happens all the time, the hip. People go over with the hip and get stuck in the hip, and then they get over here and they get stuck in the hip. I'm exaggerating it, but this happens more subtly. So what you want to do is not do that and let the body weight go down through the leg, and don't lock the knee back, but soften the knee so that it's kind of like a spring, so that it opens and bends just a little. And then when you change the weight again over to this side, the knee, you allow it to just softly bend and the weight goes through the leg to the earth. Change the weight. This is called separate, empty, and full. Also notice the other mistake people make is to get over to that right leg, doing something like this in this upper body, right? And that's not keeping our central upright. So when you allow the weight to go down through the leg, this zhong central upright is allowed to remain intact. Same thing to this side. So it's called separate, empty, and full. This is a great thing to practice kind of secret Tai Chi when you're standing in line waiting for something, or you're waiting at your counter for your tea kettle to reach a boil. And in general, you want to spend more time in one leg and not the other, and then in the other leg and not the other, rather than locking joints and just holding on, hoping that you won't get exhausted, because you always do get exhausted. But this gives a rest and relief here, and then a rest and relief here. Now, find the middle, both legs, but keep a feeling of that soft quality. So you're not locked in here, right? You're not locking your joints. You're soft. There's a buoyancy, a little bit of a looseness, right? So now, hands scoop in front. Bring the hands up. Turn the hands over. The hands sink. So it might look like we're pushing down, but think of it more like sediment settling down. Turn the hands and scoop. Rising. So as you rise up, you can straighten the legs and kind of lengthen the body up towards the sky a little bit, float it, so that you can have this experience of settling, softening, melting, sediment down, 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 through. And then scooping the hands and rising up. Inhaling as you rise. And then turn the hands, exhale as you settle, settle, settle down through the tissue to the earth. Pung. Pung is a technical term. It's the energy of the rising, kind of like the ocean, how the ocean rises. And then An. Pung and An are two sort of opposite balanced concepts. An is sinking, rising, and sinking. One more. Now let the hands come right alongside your body, and we do rising hands. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see as we go forward and up. The wrists are relaxed. It's as if you're painting the wall with the back of the hand. Then we don't just come down in the same position. There's a change. All the joints kind of rearrange, and we come down as if we're painting with the fingertips. Let the arms come a little behind you, and then down to rise up. So like a pendulum swings, it rises because of this sort of down potency, right? So we're going swinging down and letting that same quality be what rises. Change this soft relationship with the joints. And sinking. Rise. Sliding down and back. One more. Crane flapping wings. Open. Looks like the feed is freezing. I'm not sure if you guys can see me. Sorry if it froze there. Yeah, it said my internet's a little unstable, but hopefully I'm back now. So that same sort of liquid movement in the arm, but now we're going out. Now here you really want to feel this space that I was talking about, that the way you get your arm up is not through tightening a bunch of muscles. It's through opening a chamber in here, and that creates this buoyant quality. So there's looseness through your arms. And then down, scooping slightly under. Open. Open those spaces. Feel that quality of buoyancy. This is also great for our lymphatic system. And again, with all the respiratory issues that are going on, things that open and close this area, very important for the lymphatic flushing and pumping. Now, wings, holding here for a moment. Rotate your arms so your palms face up. Now, just at the elbow joint, just the elbow joint, fold. Over top, hands settle down through the middle. Wings, open. At about the top, roll, turn palms up. Elbows fold, soft, easy movement. Settling down and through. Two more. Wing. And then this roll, fold, roll, fold. Down. All the way relaxed. Staying relaxed as you wing out, roll, fold. Settle, settle, settle. Now, a combination movement. Wings, right hand, roll and fold as left hand sweeps down and under, bottom of a ball, top of a ball. Like two magnets attracting to each other, two magnets repelling from each other. Then we go right hand over the top and out as left hand sweeps out. And we're back to the wings. Now, left hand, turn palm up. As the left hand comes up over, right hand sweeps under, top and bottom of a ball. And then they go magnetically attract, magnetically repel, go around the big circle. Then right hand, turn palm up. It comes over the top as left hand comes under. Attract, repel, around. And let's flow this one. It's called Embrace the Moon. Let's do it a few times. There can be a little bit of that sinking quality here, rising quality here, sinking, rising. Sinking, right, sink, right. Arms out to the wings, down, up, right in front of you here, like we did a moment ago. Turn the palms to face forward. So now when we push, think fingertips. Notice my wrist. This is a hallmark of Tai Chi. The wrist, we don't want to crank it like that and jam the joint. But we also don't have this wrist straight. There's this perfect in between where there's this flow, right? So the push is as if we're pushing with the tips of the fingers rather than hammering with the heels of the hands, right? So now push, both arms forward, all the way forward, fully extended, then come around and draw. When you draw back, let the elbows come back, let these spaces here open, turn the hands, push. At the end of the push, these spaces are somewhat closed. Wrap around, draw back, open those spaces, turn, push. Draw. Push. Draw. Push. Draw. Now asymmetrical for added challenge. Turn left palm, get ready to push with the left hand. This causes a little rotation at our middle. Then as you turn left hand to face the body, right hand turns to face forward. One push, one draw. Then the hands change. One push, one draw. Repel the monkey. One push, one draw. These various movements eventually are done while walking, stepping, turning, doing different complexities with the lower half. But right here, we're getting a lot of what we're looking for. There's even a natural weight change. When we push right hand, the weight naturally goes into the left leg a little. And then when we push left hand, the weight naturally goes into that right leg. It's just how the tissue and joints and energy and gravity all interact. And let's bring both hands back, down, and. Now remember the weight change we were doing to left and right. So change the weight into your left leg, and again, change the weight into your right leg. So notice that's a lateral movement, left and right. What we add is the rotation. Change the weight to your right leg, turn from your middle, kind of from the belly, turn to your right. And actually, let's do single hand. So take your right hand, place it behind your back so you're not thinking about it. Just your left hand is in the game here. So you change the weight to your right leg, turn from the belly, and sweep like a broom. So Janet, don't bend your elbow up to here. Keep your arms straight, down in the water. And then turn your hand around. Now, as we change the weight to the left leg, turn the belly to the left. This is called brush knee, like you're sweeping something across that way. Turn the hand again. Change the weight to the right leg, turn and sweep the leg. Turn the hand, shift, turn, brush knee. Turn the hand. So the palm is facing directly to the right, and then turn the hand, and the palm is facing directly to the left. Turn the hand to the right, to the left. Now, turn your left palm to face forward and take the hand out in front of you and around a circle as you shift to your right leg. And then just like we did a moment ago, brush knee. Let's do that again. Swirl the stream. The left hand goes forward around a circle and then comes in close to the body as you then brush knee. So we're shifting from left leg to right leg and turning right. And then we're shifting from right leg to left leg and turning left. Really just two events happening. Shift, turn, and swirl, that's one event. Shift, turn, and brush, that's another. One more. Shift, turn, swirl around with the hand down in the water. Bring it in close. Shift, turn, brush the knee. Now that the bear snatches the low jumping fish. Turn your left palm to face forward and lift it up in the air a little bit. Shift right, turn right, sweep the hand across like there's a little jumping fish and you're smacking it out of the air. Drop the hand into the water, brush the knee. Arm floats, shift and turn and snatch the fish and brush the knee. Arm floats, shift, turn, and shift, turn. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Now the higher jumping fish. So the arm floats up, over the top, down. Shift, turn. Up, over the top as you shift and turn, down. From right to left, and then from left to right. Now, listen close. Shift to your left leg, wing, roll, fold. Shift to the right, turn to the right, push. Just like we did our push earlier, push across towards the side wall. The arm falls down into the water, brush knee, shift, turn, brush. Wing, roll, fold. Shift, turn, push. Falls into the water, shift, turn, brush knee. Wing, roll, fold. Shift, turn, push. Down in the water. One more, shift, turn, wing, roll, fold. Shift, turn, push. Now pause, actually do the brush knee. Now turn the hand, sweep the lake. The lake turns to vapor, rises up. Now this is a cloud. Shift and turn, cloud. Clouds, rain. Fill up the lake. Shift and turn, lake. Vapor. Shift and turn, cloud, rain. Again, shift and turn. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. And then the last one we'll do here before we go to the other side. Pause down here at the bottom. Remember when we had a ball like this? So this hand is down at the bottom of the ball as you've shifted to your right leg and turned slightly right. Now this is a unique path. The left hand goes away from the body, away from the body. As you shift and turn, it does what's called flying diagonal. It comes up and ends up at this upper corner. So it started down here, but it ends up here by going through this saber arc out in front of you. Now turn the palm out, sweep it down like a crane wing, sweep across the lake. Now you're at the bottom of the ball. The hand goes away from your body and goes up a slow rising diagonal till it gets to this upper corner, palm facing up. Then turn the palm out, sweep down, sweep across the lake. Bottom of a ball. So the palm is facing up And watch as I turn sideways so you can see the hand goes away from the body and travels to that point in space, right? So that's this saber arc. Turn the palm out. One more. Let's do two more of those. So it's shift and turn. Some people use the description of you're throwing a frisbee. It's that sort of feeling, even though we're doing it very slowly. You wouldn't throw a frisbee this slow, but it's this quality. Turn the palm out. All right. Now bring your right arm out. Shift across. Put left hand behind your back. Let's start back from the beginning there. Brush knee. Turn the hand. Sweep the leg. And be very clear, this first one, we're specifically staying down. Down in the water. We're not bending. We're not lifting. It's long. And in some ways, it's as if I don't ever bend my elbow. Even though my elbow's not locked, I'm coming across and I'm not bending so that I have to open the shoulder. I have to open all this tissue in the back to get this hand over here. And also I got to let this area open to get that arm over there, not bending the elbow. So this swing and swing, and there's a change of weight and a turn of the waist. Change weight from right to left, turn the body. Change the weight and turn. Change the weight, turn. Change. Now, stay in your right leg for a moment. Turn your right palm forward. Now the hand is going to travel forward around a big circle out in front of you and then come in close and do that familiar brush knee. And again, we shift and turn and we swirl the string. So we're drawing a circle in this imaginary water. But emphasize, we are not lifting the arm. So Christopher, what you're doing is more the snatch the fish, which is fine. It's the movement, but we want to be able to differentiate. Notice how my hand is staying down as opposed to coming up. So track the fact that we're not lifting the arm, and yet still you can make this big, beautiful circle by opening up spaces in the back, in the chest, and the torso. And that trains us to not tense the body as we then snatch the fish. Float the hand, shift and turn, come across, let the arm fall into the water, shift and turn, brush, float, shift and turn. Now we allow that space to remain while we lift the limb a little higher in space. Cross. Changing weight to the right leg, turning. Changing weight to the left leg, turning. At no point losing our middle pivot, yet we're making these pretty large changes in the outer body. Higher jumping fish. So now you let that hand float up and over, and then down and through. Up and over. Down and through. Now, wing, roll, fold into that little space here. Now this is a loaded up hand ready for shift, turn, push. Let the hand fall into the water. It stays to the left side of the body so that it has somewhere to brush from. Wing, roll, fold, left leg is empty, and then change and go into that left leg, push. Brush, wing, roll, fold, push. Brush, roll, fold, push. Brush, push. Now pause here. Sweep the lake. Vapor. Shift to the right leg, turn, cloud. Cloud rains down, fills up the lake. Shift and turn lake. Stay to the left as the vapor floats up. Shift and turn cloud. Stay to the right as the hand settles. Shift and turn lake. Vapor. Shift and turn cloud. Rain. 2 more. Each round, if we're doing it from the right sort of perspective, feels easier, lighter, more floaty, more buoyant. And then when you practice Tai Chi regularly for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you get a different level of buoyancy you can access that's not available in your first class or your first week or your first month. Now, pause here. This hand, again, is the bottom of a ball. The hand floats away from the body and goes on this rising diagonal. Turn the palm out. Wing sweeps down. Shift and turn. Lake. Bottom of a ball. Then that sort of frisbee throw. Diagonal. Turn the palm out. Wing, sweep, flying diagonal. Turn the palm. Wing, sweep, lake. Flying diagonal. Weight is changing. At least a little bit, leg to leg. May not be 100-0, might just be 10 degrees each way, but you're creating that differential of now you're more in the left, now you're more in the right, and you're moving and turning from this middle pivot and seeing how that middle pivot efficient turn creates this outer body orbiting of the limbs and different movements. Right? And sweep. Bring both hands out. Back to middle. Now, rock slightly to your heels. Turn your palms forward, swing the arms back and up. Feel this open space in the chest, shoulder. Then, rock to your toes. And like water flooding out to the tips of the fingers, palms face up. Then rock to your heels, soften and bend the elbows, hands come in as if bringing something in the mouth, the upper gate. Then settle to the middle of your feet, your hands come down to your navel. And then from here, the butt goes back just a little. And then we sink and let the arms soften long. Push through the earth and stand back up. Totally relaxed. Rock back to your heels a little bit. The arms swing back. Open the chest, shoulder area, open. Feel that buoyancy and that softness. Rock to your toes. Water flooding to the tips of the fingers, palms face up, both palms. Rock back, the elbows soften, and that bringing in of the hands happens. Past the mouth. Rock to the middle as the hands settle to your middle, your belly. And then the tail goes back, that opens that space for you to slide. Push through the earth and rise up. This is cleansing the palate. Rock back, swing the arms, open and up. Rock forward, they wrap around and reach. Rock back, the hands come in the mouth. Down to the middle. And then through. It's called Sync Chi Wash Organs. It's the open and close, the sort of formal opening Qigong and closing Qigong, because it just uses all the different pivots. It helps loosen up where we're holding because we're having to rock forward, rock back. We're finding this sync, this opening of all the channels on the back. Last one. Rock back, up, rock forward, reach, rock back, bringing in the upper gate, rock middle, settle to the middle, and then through. All the way back to standing. And we close with one more wing, roll, fold. Sort of gathering gesture that we then settle down to where the Taoists and Chinese medicine folks say is the most important reservoir here, deep to the belly. So we've got belly button, lower back, the place right in between the two. So as our hands come down, our mind settling to that place. And then we seal the practice, one hand over belly button, other hand stacked on top of that hand. And let's take 5 breaths, doing nothing. Try to find Zhongjung. So, like Janet, it looks like you were sort of standing like this. Do your best to get that vertical line. Zhongjung is central upright. Chun One is letting that which is sediment of the earth settle to the earth. And then feel Qingling, that which is left, which is your effervescent, buoyant ability to move and be free and nimble. Final 3 breaths, just make them natural, nourishing, enjoyable. Releasing any extraneous activity. And then the Taoist bow, the little hand mudra. Grab one thumb, soft little fist grip over the thumb, and fold. So you see a little yin yang symbol. Thank you, everybody. All right, have a comfortable seat in your chair. If there are questions or comments or insights, all of which are valuable, a lot of times people just sharing, those of you that have been practicing a while, sharing what it is that you're seeing happen, if anything, through your practice is very useful to people. So
thank you. Thank you, Otto.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle.